Alright, so I'm off during the COVID quarantine break we got here, and I thought I'd install a subwoofer in my Mini Cooper. I've been kind of thinking about it for a while, but I guess since I got a lot of free time on my hand now, I might as well start it now. So it's gonna be just a really basic install. I don't have a head unit or anything like that, like an aftermarket one. I'm just gonna get my audio signal from a I think it was a line output converter, or LOC, LOC, and I got an amp here somewhere, so I'm just gonna get the signal off of that. I believe it's on this side. Yeah, so I guess first thing you want to do is run your power line, and what I did for that is for the power line, first things first is I removed this cowl here. There's two screws holding it. One's plastic, so be very gentle. I think one screw holds it here, another one, and I think it's a nut. It's like I believe it was a plastic nut holding it here, and I just kind of gently wiggled it out this way and then pull it out so I can have good access to the battery here. Next thing what I did was I removed the battery, and I used this big grommet here, the factory grommet. They already have a line going through. I don't know if it's visible. That's the factory line. So what I did was they have like these two other penetrations kind of popping out, but their heads are closed basically. So what I did was I just took a scissor and I cut the head off this big one here. This is a 4-gauge wire, by the way, and it fits perfectly through this protrusion. So I cut the tip off, and I had plenty of space to shove this wire in through it. And so yeah, it's a 4-gauge wire. And then what you do is it's kind of hard to see, but I don't know if it's even visible or not, but that grommet is right beside the factory cabin filter box. I'm not sure if it's visible or not, but you can, when you get on your back inside the footwell area, you'll see it. Just grab a light and look up right where this wire is coming from. I don't know if it's visible, but you'll see the big black grommet. And once you shove your wire in, it's pretty much just gonna come down. You can grab it with your hand and pull it down. It's not that hard. You just have to kind of feel for it. But yeah, once you push the wire in through the engine bay and into the grommet through the protrusion, and it comes down here, and you can kind of keep shoving it in from there, or you can stick your hand up there, feel for the grommet, and then pull the wire down. And yeah, you can either do it from the inside or the outside, up to you. I did it from the inside. It was just easier for me rather than pulling a whole bunch of wire from the engine bay. And then after that, you want to hide this wire. So in order to do that, you got to pull a few panels off. First thing what you want to do is you want to take this what's it called, this rubber thing, I forgot, this gasket here. You want to kind of pull this off gently, and then take off this door, the fuse door here on the passenger side, and you just kind of want to pull it, keep pulling it this way, and just wiggle it and then pull it out, and it'll give sooner or later. Don't go too hard, don't be too gentle, don't be scared of it. It'll just pop off. as you can see, it's once I have to reinstall it, you see these little white little tabs or whatnot, or not tabs, whatever these are called. They go into the tabs on this plastic panel. So I probably have to kind of lift this and then kind of put it down so the tab here goes into this space here on this plastic piece, and it's like that all the way through from the front to the back. As you can see, there's one there, two there, there's three here. This one actually came off with the panel. 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 of these, and yeah, just kind of gently pry this off with your hand, or if you have some plastic pry tools. I have plastic pry tools. I just decided to do it with my hands. So you just pull that off, and there's plenty of room here. You can probably pull a 0 gauge wire easy. There's plenty of space for it. So yeah, after I pull that off, then you come to the back side of the car. On the back side, you actually, one thing you want to remember is that the seatbelt anchor here, this actually kind of stops the it's basically the way it's screwed into the body, it holds this plastic panel too. So in order to get enough room, you have to actually take this anchor out in order to be able to pull the plastic panel off. And this is it. You need, I believe, a T50 or a T55, not a screwdriver actually. Where's my kit? This is what I used. These guys here, I believe it was a T45 or something like that. This is a kit I bought from a local hardware store here in Canada called Canadian Tire, and there it is. It's a T50. Yeah, okay, it's a T50. I use this guy, and yeah, I use that to open this anchor so that I can have room to pry this panel off here, so I can have more room to work. So yeah, once you do that, you come here, and you kind of have to take this gasket and keep peeling it off all the way to back here, up to here basically. And then you come to the back panel, this big piece here. The back panel, I didn't take it off all the way. I didn't need to. The higher you get, the kind of more troublesome it becomes, and I didn't really know what's going on here at this seam, so I left it alone. And that's because there is plenty of room. There's plenty of room back here with this panel spaced about 3.5, 4 inches. There's plenty of room to run your power wire from here all the way to the back, and that's what I did. The same thing with this panel, with the removal. You just kind of have to you know, gently, I mean, not too gentle, not too hard, just kind of pry it off, pull it out. But obviously, before you do that, you got to take off the seats, and the in order to be able to kind of push this out a little bit. So yeah, now coming to the seats, these guys here, what's going on? First things first, I took up the backrest. Now the backrest is how it works is, where's my screwdriver? this is the clip for the backrests. There's two metal pieces on each backrest. One holds it here and one holds it there. Well, you can see it on this side better. It goes in here. So first things first, you want to pry the backrest out of this area first. And how you do that is you take a flathead, you kind of go in here, right? Once you push this to the side like this, the little tab is or the little protrusion here it is, the little protrusion is free to come out. But the thing is, for me it was really hard to pull it out by my hand. So what I did was I went under it with the screwdriver and I just pushed it up. So you know, you have to simultaneously push this tab to the side, okay, and then you have to go down under the metal protrusion here, and you just kind of flip it up. You know, you just go under it and push it to the side, and then you flip it up and it comes out. It's very easy. Both sides are the same thing. So what you do on this side, you do on this side. You just go in there, push it in, and then you flip it up. And alright, now coming to the panel side where the seats are secured. So this is the hole where the seat metal piece goes into, and as you can see, it's got these two, I guess, wings or something. So obviously these have to line up with these here, because once it goes inside, unless it lines up perfectly here, you will not be able to pull it out. That's just kind of a guessing game. You have to you know, keep kind of pulling the seats backrests up and down a little bit until you feel where they're lined up enough where you can just pull the seat out. And that's what I did. The same thing on this side is on this side. So yeah, once you pull them out, and this is one of them right here that I pulled out. And then once you have both sides pulled out, and you need to do that because that's how you get this bottom part of the seat out. And the bottom part of the seat works something like, I'm not 100% sure, but this back part, you have to this thing, so this kind of bronze looking piece of metal goes into here, right? So it goes into here. You kind of have to pull the seat up all the way up, okay, and then push the seat down so that this metal bronze wire goes down from where it's located in here, right here. You know, you have to push it down. But before you do that, first you have to free it up at the front, because it's also connected at the front, obviously. And how you do that, I guess I should have shown this part first, but yeah, first you have to come here and you have to feel this up. You go under the seat. Once it's in place, right, you have to go under the seat and kind of feel for these other wires here. Now honestly, I don't exactly know how I did it, but I kind of pulled on I did this, I think it's right here, is it? I'm not too sure. I think I pulled on this black part where it's basically it kind of holds the fabric to this wire here. I kind of pulled on it, right, and it just popped off. There's two metal placements where it's being held in, so I think, how does this work exactly? Yeah, so you got this piece of metal, and you got the same thing on the other side. I'll be honest with you, I don't fully understand how I did it, but I think it's got to do. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, I think what happens is I did this front part goes in here, and you just gotta push it in, because I don't think it's the middle part that goes in there. Yeah, because you can't push them out. So that's probably how it works. This front part, okay, goes over this, and then it locks up here. In order for you to take it out, you gotta push this in, so you create some room in order to be able to pull it off. It's the same thing on both sides. That side's got this springy loaded wire thing, the same as this. So yeah, it's kind of a tight fit to get your fingers in there if you got big fingers. Yeah, so just push this in, and then just probably do something like this, and then you gotta take your fingers, put it on that, find that piece of wire, and then keep trying to push it in, and then pull it up. At least I think that's how I did it, and I just did it like 20 minutes ago. I can't believe I forgot. So yeah, once you do that, you take both of these, you pop off both of these springy wires here, and the seats come loose at the front. Then you gotta lift it up like this, so that the other part I mentioned before, the wire comes out of that other tab at the back, and then you can just kind of take it out like this, and then leave it wherever you want. But yeah, so once you so you got to do the seat first, and then you can pull this rear panel, pull it off enough so that you can run your wire there, and it's plenty of space. You can just be careful, kind of bend this over this tab. You can do that. Actually, the seat's in my way, I can't do it now. But once you do that, there's plenty of room. You'll definitely see the other end of this panel. You see the light shining through. So yeah, and then you can just snake your wire and maybe use this wire is soft, so maybe use like a coat hanger or something kind of flexible and kind of rigid at the same time, and you can shove your wire in halfway a little bit there, and then you can shove your, for me I use this magnet tool. You know, it's rigid but at the same time it's flexible, so I just shoved it in, put some duct tape on the wire, and what do you call it, and then just pull it out of this side. And as you can see right here, my wire, and it's coming out of this little panel space here. There's plenty of room back there. Like I said, I mean, if you want to run a crazy, I don't know, 2000 watt competition system, you can pull plenty of wires from behind the panels. So yeah, and then I just gotta get on with the thing, kind of putting the wires, tucking them under the panel there, all the way to here, and then once I get my line output converter, I can finish up the rest of the installation. Alright, so I've run my power wire under this panel, behind this panel here, and I've also run some extra wires. This is basically an RCA audio cable. I've just run it there for future proofing, because I'll probably decide to put in a head unit, aftermarket head unit. So I'm just gonna put it here, and for later on I don't have to open this whole thing back up and put more wires here. I've put in a video cable also for backup camera, and a amp signal wire here, just for the future head unit. And okay, so all the cables are here. They're packed in under the all these little white little plastic tabs and whatnot. Now what you want to do is when I pull these out, these would stay in the body of the car. So what you want to do is you find all of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7 right down here in the back. You pull all these off the body. You use something like this, and then you just prime out. Okay, just be careful because there's a few holes here that they can get lost into. So you pull all these out and you put them back into this panel. It just makes it a lot easier versus trying to slide this panel into the grooves of these tabs. Pull them all out, put these back in their place on the panel, and then reattach the panel back. So I pull all these out. So now I'm gonna try to reattach this panel back to the body. Let's see. Let's start at the front, making sure none of the wires are in the way or in front of the holes where these little plastic tabs need to go into. Okay. They don't line up perfectly with the hole. There's definitely a bit of movement, so you know, you just gotta kind of figure out how to line them up. Alright, that seems to have gone in. Okay. I put my excess wires here. I don't know if it's visible or not. They're like right here beside the fuses. So that's where they are hiding right now. Okay. Now I think maybe I got 2 of these things in. And it's just a matter of playing around and finding the holes. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely getting some resistance here. I'm not sure if it's that holes are not lining up or the wires are not allowing the tabs to go in. There we go. Sometimes needs a good little smack. to push the that's as far back as it goes. Let's pull it up to the front. Give it a little smack. Hopefully it'll go in. Not quite here. This protrusion right here, and it's kind of not letting the rest of the stuff go in. I'm wondering what its purpose is. Okay. Oh, damn it. This guy came off. I gotta shove it back in there again. I don't know if this one was in and I think it just popped out. Okay, that's in. Okay. That's in too. But this little thing here, this tab is... I don't know what this black tab is. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so I think this this piece of plastic right here that's protruding is it's getting stuck on this wire loom. It's not letting it go in all the way. I'm assuming it's part of this bigger panel here. Yeah, not too sure. And if I can, or maybe I just cut it off, I don't know. Doesn't look like it goes into this bigger panel here, so maybe it's just there because of their forming process or something. Yeah. But yeah, this is pretty much in. It's just this black tab is not letting it go in all the way. Feels alright. Feels like it's secure. Yeah, this little tab is kind of getting stuck on the wire loom. And also I got my other wires running there, so I'm just wondering if there's like a hole back there maybe for this, or what's going on. I don't feel a hole back there. Yeah, but that's how you get this piece, this door panel piece in. Now I just gotta figure out what this black tab does and maybe cut it off, maybe leave it there, and then just close this side up to this bigger panel. Okay, so
what's in my YouTube
I just left that. Like, oh, damn. Turn this guy off first. So yeah, I just I left that tab alone. I let it be there. I kind of squeezed it in there beside the wire loom and left it there. And yeah, I popped this thing back into place, nice and tight. Kind of gave it some good wax where the you know, those little plastic bits are. and the plastic fasteners. Give it a few good waxes. Nice and solid now. Also, for this rear seat belt, you don't need to remove it. All you have to do is just kind of slide it. Well, yeah, you press it in and then you can slide it in and out like that. And then once you put this panel back on, you just slide it into place. No need to remove it. This is back in its spot. All the power wire, amp signal wire, RCA audio, RCA video is underneath here, nice and easy. Power wire, RCA audio, RCA video, and the amp signal wire here. Obviously these are just for later on when I install a aftermarket head unit. Yeah, that's it. So all that's left is put this gasket back in place, and when my line output converter comes, I can tap into the amplifier, the factory amplifier there for the audio signal, bring the amp out, connect the power, find a nice ground spot for it somewhere here, and away we go. All right. Okay.
But I won't lie, like, honestly, extreme frequent is actually kind of fun. The problem is that most people that meet in person are awkward as hell. Like, I was shopping for sneakers, and this guy was like, hey, Rich rebuilds, and I was like, hey, man, yeah, what's up? And he's like, yeah, and he just stared at me, and I'm like, so, you like the channel? And he's like, yeah, you know, your new stuff isn't really that good. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Nice talking to you. People are funny, man. I mean, like, I was blessed with the gift of gab. I can talk, I can yap.
All right, then that's the gasket back on. Easy peasy.
Not everyone's like that. Some people are a lot better behind a keyboard than they are in person. I'm starting to realize that more and more.
So for my ground, I decided to just make a hole right here and put one of these screw type rivets inside, and I can just use the where's my ground wire? There it is. And this will just, you know, my ground wire is just gonna go over the rivet, and it's going to get screwed in. Where did I put the screw? Oh, there it is. So yeah, basically gonna go in and it'll just screw in like that. All nice and tight. And I checked the voltage here too. It's there's no voltage drop from here to the positive. So yeah, I'm using and also there's nothing under here. I've checked to make sure I'm not, you know, drilling hole into anything else. So yeah, there's nothing under this spot here where I'm drilling the ground, where I'm drilling the hole for the ground connection for the amplifier. And underneath I'm gonna put in a sprayed with some primer and paint, just so you know there's no rust that's gonna happen here in this area. That's from the bottom, obviously. But yeah, I'm using these Milwaukee drill bits. It's pretty it's not too thick of I don't know, maybe it's 1/8 or something, 1/8 thick steel, so you don't need anything fancy. I just had these on hand, so I decided to use these, and you know, just went with a really Not even a very powerful drill, just a everyday household drill, and it's drilled into it just fine. But yeah, so that's gonna be where my ground's gonna go.
A cheap amplifier. On the other side, we have 8 gauge speaker outputs. We have 3 40 amp fuses, and then we have inputs for 4 gauge power and ground, and also remote connection. I know what you're thinking. 3 40 amp fuses, 8,000 watts. Big dummy math doesn't lie. You big dummy! That's right, so let's talk about it here. 40 amps times 3 fuses, 120 amps times 14.4 volts, 728, divided by 80% efficiency, 1,382 watts. That's about what we're going to expect. All right, now let's check out the size of this 8,000-watt amplifier. We have 8 inches or 203 millimeters on the width, and on the length, 14.75 inches or 375 millimeters. And then the height, 2 inches or 51 millimeters. Now let's get the amp all wired up. We have an 8 gauge for the speaker connections, and then we use 4 gauge for the power and ground. And we also use our RCA's, amp on, fire up the good old SMD DeMoore Engineering Amplifier Dyno AD1. Let's do some RMS power output tests. Again, these are not maximum tests. These are RMS output tests. First up, 4 ohms. The amp is rated 4,000 watts. And smack your face and your mama, it ain't gonna happen. Start off with the certified test up to 1% THD, 576 watts, 14.32. Uncertified takes us up to the clipping point of the amp, which we expect a little bit more power. 597.
Wind up there. Where's this fuse gonna shove into here, I guess? Okay, yeah, down here. No problem, not too much stress on it. This. Oh, okay. This is good. Okay. Right. Can I put it here? But then this is gonna come down, and if I put it in like this, then there's gonna be a bit of interference. Can I shove it in? Nope, I can't move it. This is exactly where it wants to be. Well, it's not like it's gonna close anyways. Definitely not gonna close.
Class D amps should give you between 75 and 85% efficiency, okay? What is efficiency? It's a ratio of the input versus the output power. So for example, if you have an amp that's 80% efficient, it requires 1,000 watts of input to produce 800 watts. Now let's look at this amp.
Nice and tight.
We got 73.3% efficiency at 4 ohms, which is not that great for a Class D. Let's try the 2 ohm test where the amp is rated 5,000 watts. And yes,
Maybe I'll just cut this part off.
It's not anywhere near 5,000 watts. 952, 14.28, certified up to 1% total harmonic distortion. Uncertified test again takes us to the clipping point. You get over 1,000 watts here. 1,048.
Then they work again like 99% of the time. I had one like this last week though. We took out the fence, gate resistors, 2X drivers, coupler, 5-volt regulator, rectifier diode, wall trace, and the actual whole auxiliary wind on the transformer. But no, in case you hadn't realised, the sarcasm is strong on this one, and that this is one of the most generic bullshit circuit designs you can get, dating way back to the early 2000s and featuring in amp brands such as the Loudest.com, Audio Pack, Sinus Live, Branson, Bass Face, Vibe, Gravity, etc. You get the picture. Interestingly, this circuit design is also used in the likes of Digital Design's DM series, although built up a lot better. If we take a look at Perry's legendary amplifier repair guide, this design slots in under generic Class D type form, which truly shows how old these designs are. No offense, Perry. When Derek shot these photos over to me, I hazarded a guess of about 2150 watts RMS, 1 ohm, 14 volts, with an average efficiency, which was almost bang on, so I smacked myself on the back for that. The only good thing worth mentioning is probably these little foam pads under the transformers and inductors to prevent them running on the I don't know how fast you also. So to summarise, these are cheap, slightly more used with the underwater performance for their size, and you should only consider buying one if it's blown, and cheap, and you want to learn how to restart fixing parts. And if you want to be too heavy, you better throw a volcano and hope that it gets struck by lightning on the way down.
Big shout out to Sam there for doing that segment. I was talking about the good stuff. First off, it's cheap. It's going to make your friends jealous. Brag about having an 8K amp as a variable subsonic, which is the world's best bass remote. Bank on the lies. That's right. So what could be better with this amp? Well, less deception, more truth from the manufacturer, and the bass knob is garbage. And guys, those of us who've been in cardio for a while expect things like this. But people who don't know spend their hard-earned money on things like this because of these inflated ratings. I don't care what anybody says, this should not be allowed. This is pure deception, pure bait and switch. I'm glad you guys watch my channel and see all this stuff happening, but it still makes me mad. Next time, y'all might
Okay, take this guy.
Alright, those who know. Always watch after the credits for Big Bean's video. Going to share some extras. Here's a certified run at 0.8. Yeah, 1,212 watts. So it definitely dropped off at 0.8. We didn't go any lower with the certified test.
I think it's a 10.
Which is kind of impressive, honestly. Then we decided to drop it down even lower. I was trying to 0.67. Let's try half an ohm. Can it handle it? Yes, it did. 600 watts. Again, this is just for fun. These numbers don't really mean anything. Still, you can see all the results here. All the right.
look, this is it. This is the last shot at Tika Tuwari's 5 coins to 5 million.
Okay. Okay, feels about right. I'm just gonna put this gasket back on. Okay, gasket's back on. This is back on, feels pretty nice and tight. Yeah, the previous owner kind of broke this off real nice for me, so I used some drywall screws for that. So yeah, this is the front back on. You got this bolt here, plastic, be careful. The sorry, that's a nut. This one's a bolt, this one's metal. Just tighten it up snug, that's it. And we're done with the front.